Hi everyone, this is Laurier Golden Talks, episode 14, Choose Your Own Adventure. Kick it!
I wanna talk, I wanna be your friend. I get so nervous when I meet new people, but you don't mind cause you're a nice new friend. Let's go to school and just be friendly people. I just wanna sit and talk to you. Oh my, it's fun when we're together. All right.
Hi everyone and welcome to Laurier Golden Talks, the first, best, and only podcast pertaining to the Laurier community. I'm one of your co-hosts, Christine, and I'll toss it over to my friends to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Sharon.
Hey everyone, I'm Sharon, but I am Yoko.
What's good, everybody? It's Craig, representing Captain Canada, Steve Nash. But before we get any further with this podcast, you'll notice that I'm also wearing my cardigan. It's time for us to start this podcast on a more serious note. So, with all of the uncertainty relative to COVID-19, one of the things that's probably top of your mind right now is, am I even going to be ready for school in September? So, the best laid plans, hopefully a really great first term, and second term was really just kind of getting underway. And then everything stopped. And you're doing homeschool now, probably feeling like it's definitely not the same. Maybe it's going better. Hopefully it is. Maybe it's just so different you don't even know what to do. I mean, here's what we know. The province has said that nobody's marks are going to go down. So you can have nowhere to go up from there from an admission standpoint. And I've talked to you guys before about the fact that we are going to be admitting all qualified students into the programs at Laurier. Now, that's different than being prepared. And if you are doing, for example, a functions course right now, and it's a prerequisite for a science program you're looking at, or something in the Lazaridis School of Business and Economics, and math isn't your strong suit, it's one of those things you're just trying to power through. You're like, am I even going to be prepared? And the reality is that it's going to be different for you, but you are in this together with every other student in the province of Ontario. So, and for that matter, in Canada. So it's a problem that is a real thing. That's just the long and short of it, but it's not a unique problem relative to you and the rest of the students that are in the same boat you are as an incoming first year student. And so with that, you just need to be a little bit patient with yourself, do the best you can now, but also Laurier for sure, and I'm sure other institutions in the same boat, are going to be coming up with messaging about some enrichment programs, some preparedness programs you can do specifically for some of those subject matters that you need to have those concepts to build on, as well as just in general also. So I know for a fact that there'll be some communications coming out from Laurier about that in the coming weeks. So stay tuned. In the meantime, the best thing you can do is all you can do, and that's your best. Do that. We get it, we understand, and we're working to make sure that the preparedness piece, which is definitely a problem, it's not a problem without a solution. So do your part, and I promise you that Laurier will do their, we will do our part as well. Okay, and with that, that's all for on a more serious note. Back down to the usual business.
The silly goose time that we normally have. Craig?
Oh, that was supposed to be me now?
Yeah.
I thought, okay. I apologize. So we wanted to talk today about choose your own adventure. So one of the cool things about university is that unlike high school, where you kind of have to pick from a very limited set number of courses, a lot of them mandatory, you have a ton of flexibility, some more than others. Yoko will tell you that as a health science student, there's not a lot of space, but for someone like Christine, who did a Bachelor of Arts degree in communication studies, she had more electives in first year than she had required courses. And I was actually somewhere in the middle as a student doing kinesiology program. I had a number of required, but I had flexibility too. And Sharon L right now is actually in school. She's a student as we speak. So what we want to talk today is about some of the awesomeness that comes with the flexibility of building your own degree. You may get to do a lot of it and move a lot of blocks around, or maybe you're just going to have a few blocks, but you still have the opportunity to have some choice over the matter, and find out some really cool things about yourself while you're at university. You don't have to have it all figured out. In fact, I can't think of a place to sort of find those things than in a post-secondary environment at university. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Choose your own adventure, great decisions or things that have happened to us that have really sort of shaped how our university education went. Have any takers to lead things off with a great moment from their career as a student?
I can start.
You never get to start because you usually throw it to us. So
I know. I'm like, oh, I know what to say. I can talk. So one thing that you kind of alluded to, Craig, was high school. I was in French immersion, and I also went to a Catholic school. So there were a lot of mandatory courses that I had to take. So in grade 12, because I had to have my mandatory French, religion, English, all those courses, I really only had one elective, which was drama. Shout out to all my drama kids. But I didn't have a lot of electives. And then when I came to Laurier and I pursued a Bachelor of Arts in Communication Studies, I had nothing but electives. I had 2 mandatory courses, and the rest were like courses that I could just choose from based off of what I was interested in, which was really cool because I knew communication sounded fun, but I didn't know if it was what I wanted to do for the rest of my 4 years. So I got to really play around with a lot of other courses. I took psychology, film studies, English, sociology, political science. I took some French courses. So pretty much everything that sounded cool to me, I just took. And then at the end of first year, I ended up declaring my major. It was it was communication studies. But because of those electives, I realized I loved English and I loved film. So I got to keep taking English and film courses throughout my entire university career. They were some of the most fun courses I got to take in addition to my comm studies degree. And I ended up graduating with communication studies and a double minor with English and film studies. So I got to have like a really cool degree that fit exactly who I am and what I wanted to do with my life. Like, I love reading. My favorite course in university was Shakespeare's tragedies. Not a lot of people can relate to my love for Shakespeare, but Hamlet is my favorite book. So when I saw that I could take a course that was just like studying Hamlet, I was like, I'm in. And that got to really I just got to take courses that I loved, and I'm a huge movie nerd. So it was like having just fun every time I went to class. So, and then I got to create that really cool degree that's uniquely my own that not a lot of people get to replicate.
So this question has to be asked because I can't be the only one who's thinking it. If you went to a French immersion school and then took French university courses, isn't that kind of cheating?
It is, but I was placed in 3rd year French in my 1st year.
Oh,
So I did
a humble brag.
It's a humble brag for all you playing the home game. You have to take a placement test, and they rank you according to what you know.
And
So you're fluent in French.
I'm kind of a big deal. Yes, thank you for asking. Yeah, I am fluent. I've lost it. I've lost a lot of it because I didn't take that many French courses in university. I really should have. So if you're bilingual or trilingual or something, keep it up, because I was like, I'm going to be bilingual forever. And I'm not. I speak really sad Valley Girl French. Bonjour. Je m'appelle Christine. It's so nauseating, and I feel bad for actual people that speak French. But yeah, so I'm like cheaty. I'm like half bilingual.
Okay. I actually didn't know that you spoke French at all.
Me neither.
Didn't you read my resume when I applied for this job?
Clearly not.
Yeah.
And you also sounds like you over-exaggerated it relative to what you're copying to now on a podcast. I feel like if we could just both move on, that probably best.
No, I have the official certificate that says I'm bilingual that I submitted to the government. So.
Okay. That was really informative.
Pretty
Sharon,
professional.
less flexibility, but tell us a little bit about how you chose your own adventure.
Yes. So I was a health science student, mentioned a couple times here and there. So my first 2 years, I really didn't have too much choice. I didn't have too many options because my first 2 years were laid out for me of like, this is what I needed to take. But it did benefit me because as a health student, I had to take so many chemistry and biology classes and psych that it prepared me for my minors, and I accumulated minors in all three of them. So come my third and my fourth year, I had a little bit more room for electives, but I had already committed to taking so much, whether it was my choice or not. I had taken so many of those other science courses. So my electives were actually me completing and taking those extra courses to get those minors. So my electives are not as exciting as Christine just because I wanted to get those under my belt. But I will say, other than the tons of chem, bio, and psych classes I took to get my minor, I did have room still for other classes that I found were really interesting. Y'all are going to think I'm losers, but I stayed in science and I thought it was interesting. I did a parasitology course, so I learned all about parasites, which is gross to so many people, but I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. And did really well, and I was like, oh, this is so fun. So I learned so much about parasites that I had no idea of. But what was really cool was that led me to me and my prof, we got to know each other really well because it was a small class. So it was like 20 people, because you can imagine not very many people care to learn about parasites. And so it was really small. So me and my professor got to know each other. Anyways, with that, I got to do a directed studies with her. So the following semester, it was a major research project. It was like an entire semester, semester long. And so I got to go more in depth, and it wasn't like a class. It was like a one-on-one. I would go to her office hours. I would do my research and go back and forth and come up with this final massive paper at the end. And so that was really cool. And if I hadn't taken that elective, I wouldn't have come to have that experience. It's a very sciencey experience. For me, that was fun. So that was where I did my electives, and I branched out-ish from there.
So
Yeah, that's my story.
Surely you had lots of time in labs. Curious, your favorite lab moment?
Oh my goodness. You know
what?
Me and my friend had way too much fun in the labs. And oh my goodness, some of my hilarious memories are from the lab. I think there was one where you couldn't breathe in the or like it was harmful. Obviously they're all harmful, but we got it on our skin or something like that by accident. And I think it was worse than hydrochloric acid, I think. Anyways.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Keep going.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, we thought it was hilarious. And we peed ourselves laughing, and then we had to go like clean. It was her. We had to go like cleanse her so she was fine. But for whatever reason, it was hilarious. Anyways, don't do that. Like it was an accident. It's not like we did it on purpose. But when it happened, we thought it was so funny. Oh man, did I freeze?
No, you're good. We could hear you the whole time.
Yeah, we can hear you, but you just
have delightfully frozen facial features, and
Yeah.
it just
you're lucky you're
it's just
pretty.
adding to the experience.
Hello.
Yeah. Welcome to doing podcasts from
Oh
home.
man.
I can't believe it's taken this long
Wow.
for somebody to lock up completely.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, that's
Oh,
true. We can hear
you're
you.
back
You're
now.
good.
You're back now. Oh no. But anyway, we can hear you.
All right. Do you want me to jump in for a minute?
Please do. Give Sharon some time to get her connection stuff figured out.
So, I decided to go back to school with a push so I went to college for a different program working with children, which I love. It's my passion. I love working with young people and youth. I just love people in general. And like, even though I give Craig a hard time about his basketball choices, I still love Craig. But anyways.
Rightly so.
I think she just called you a young person.
She may have.
Yeah, I might have. Craig is younger than me. Well, I'll put that out there. He is younger than me, so he gets that. anyways, that being said, I decided I had this phenomenal faculty member who really pushed me to go back to school as a mature student. And I love it. And as you viewers know, I have 4 boys. And so it's kind of fun doing, welcome back, Yoko. It's kind of fun doing schoolwork with them and stuff. But so I'm doing arts degree, and I love like all that communication piece and all those different things. But when I decided, I had some transfer credits that came over with me. But when I was meeting with the advisor, she was like, what is it you want to do? I'm like, oh, I want to do everything. My color is orange. I don't know if you're a color people, but my color used to be orange, and I want to do everything. I'm now more of a blue, but I just, as long as it's about people, I want to do it. So I ended up taking a business writing course through English. And Craig, why are you laughing?
Sorry.
There's
There's a lot going on in Yoko's household right now.
The whole thing, she was crawling and doing the caterpillar on the ground. Something from this side of the room. Sorry, I was just peeing.
It's all good.
Tell them to get off the internet while you're...
Yeah.
I know. I was like, what happened?
That's awesome. But
Anyway,
anyways,
I digress.
so we're doing, I took a business writing course, and I took a BU 111 course, and intro to business. I could not believe it. I remember I was taking that course, and people were like, are you nuts? Don't take that course. I actually, see Christine's face. She's like, what are you saying? Yeah. I actually loved both those courses, and they took me both by surprise. I took the business writing class just more for my own career purposes, but I actually fell in love with writing, doing that, not necessarily the business writing, but like the writing a story and putting pieces together, and then learning she would give us the problem solving of taking that big topic and make it concise and clear. And so I absolutely fell in love with that. And then I was like, okay, I think I believe it's English and community writing certificate that you can get. And I was like, I think I kind of want to do that. And then I took a business course in the spring. And then I ended up, so I took that class, and I was like, this is the most intense thing I've ever taken. Like, I'm like, these people are crazy, but it was so much fun. You're on the spot, you're presenting all the time. There's this lab, there's this case. Like, I actually loved it. And so like, I was like, okay, so I'm just going to do my degree anyway, and I want my business diploma while I'm doing it. So yeah. So that's
kind of a funny story, like anecdotally. I did not want to take any of the first year business classes because I knew you'd have to give a presentation. And that was like my biggest fear of all time. And now I give presentations for my job.
Living.
A lot can change in 4 years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, in front of people? No, thank you.
It was like and then you're paired up with whoever. There's no like pick your partner. You're paired up with whoever, and like, let's go present this case, and someone's sitting there and marking you, and you have this many minutes, and the pressure. I was like, why am I doing this to myself? But I actually had a really good time.
So within your arts degree, you're also pursuing the business communication concentration and the business management?
No, so business diploma.
Okay.
And then I'm doing an English, it's called Writing and Community. I probably don't have the title right now, but it's basically where you just go into different genres of writing and communicate. Cool. Yeah, like, and that's one of the things I have to say that I loved about Laurier was being able to, okay, you're working towards this thing, but you can branch off and discover these things that you actually love.
Yeah.
And
that you didn't know you loved.
Yeah, and it opened my world. So for all of those, if you're like a parent or whatever, and you're going back as a mature student, I'm like all about it. And it was tough too. I'd be in a class, and I'd be like, okay, these people probably all look at me like they're mom, but it was fun. It was really good.
So for those of you who don't know, which I'm guessing is most of you, Sprummer is the spring and the summer term slammed together. I can tell you that my boss hates that term so much. And I get the impression that it really is a Laurierism because she worked at another university prior to that. And she's like, I've never heard the word sprummer before in my life. So I think it's a Laurier specific thing.
And that's my bad. I'm sorry. I do use that term because you guys also, some of you who know, I did work as an administrative assistant in a department. So yes, we use that term. And my son crazily took an English course, took 12-week courses and squished it into 6 weeks. And I was like, buddy, you're crazy.
That's a summer term for you.
Yeah, he loved it.
Yeah.
What about you, Craig? What's your journey?
Summer, let's
So,
Craig.
so Sprummer. During Sprummer, I can tell you that right now. But I had some electives, and what I ended up doing, not a ton in first year. And so because you had to take like intro psych, which is a full year, that was part of the requirements for the kinesiology program. Intro bio was also a requirement. So there's some layering in there, but I started with history, which was like the most comfortable subject for me in high school. And just really dug into university history. My high school teacher actually made us do like tutorials in my graduating year in high school. And so I found that like it was really natural progression for me, whereas other students maybe didn't have that experience. And so the tutorial thing was kind of like freaked them out a little bit. It was really comfortable for me. So first year, probably my favorite first year course was called Problems in American History. And it really kind of spanned from like the Salem witch hunts to slavery in the United States. It even got a little bit into like American sporting culture. Really great course. And I just decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a combination degree. So I actually have a combination degree in kinesiology and history. So I don't have a lot of diversity, but I went all in on the history train. Probably my favorite course in university period would be the history of Germany to 1945. So it brings you right up to the end of the Second World War. It was intense. There is another course called that focuses specifically on the Holocaust. That was actually a relatively small part of the course. It was actually about all of the historical events that led up to the Nazi seizure of power. And the $1 million question that the course asks is, was Nazi Germany inevitable, or was it a bunch of random coincidences, a possibility for a dictator like that to actually take power?
That sounds like a history student's just like dream come true in a course.
Oh yeah, it was great. And there is no answer to the question. There's two completely different schools of thought.
Wow.
So it's the best paper I ever wrote. My teacher assistant in the class asked me, like, you're a history major, right? I'm like, I'm a kin student. So she's like, this is one of the best history papers I've ever read. And I was like, yeah. So I was a better student than I was kin major.
Humble brag, humble brag.
Humble brag.
The episode of Humble Brag, that's okay.
There's not a lot of humility. I'm kind of the bomb.
So is it okay? Because I really want to ask. So what was the mark?
We're talking about 15 years ago. I'm gonna say.
I just thought maybe.
I'm gonna go A.
Maybe.
I'm going A plus. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I can go find it. Like, it is 2 rooms over in my like file folder of all the assignments I ever did in university.
You still keep that?
You have that?
I have every single paper I wrote in university.
That's an adventure of its own right there, Craig.
Yeah, it's true. Somebody made that. That was a recommendation that someone made during orientation week. It was like, save all of like your assignments. It started like bigger. It slowly shrunk down. So now I have like the things that I did, because like, you're going to invest tens of thousands of dollars in this. So like, hang on a second.
It'd be cool to read a little bit later. Like, look back at your education.
Yeah.
For sure.
If I
My
was
big thing
dealing
is
with
keep your
quarantine
syllabus.
boredom, I could do that. I'm not dealing with that though. There's plenty of work still to do from home.
I still have mine on my laptop just because it's the same computer I had when I was in university. So I still have them.
Yeah, I've got a pretty robust like set of digital files, but if recall from previous podcasts, I was using like the big 17-inch monitor. So like, yeah, definitely first year, maybe even second maybe even second and third year was word perfect. So like I had the files, but they're useless anyway because you can't open them on anything anymore because
Right.
who uses word perfect.
Right.
But anyway,
That's
Craig's
what's
old.
kinda-
That's the punchline of that
Craig's-
story.
That's the moral of that's the line that ties the whole podcast together every episode. We get a little glimpse into how old you are. No, I'm kidding.
Glad to offer that service.
The tie that binds.
Yes.
No, that's the cool thing though. Like we have 4 people, and I'm sure if Sean was still here, moment of silence, he would be able to delve into a really cool, like how his degree is completely different and it shapes exactly what he wanted. And that's kind of that's what I've noticed from all of us. Like we're all 4 very different people with very different interests. Like science is not my jam, but Sharon went all in on science. Sharon would probably hate one of my film studies courses because like just not her interest. So we all got to create a degree that's very unique to us. When I'm talking to students, especially students that don't know what they want to take, which was me in high school, so don't worry. The cool thing about Laurier is you get to create a degree that's as unique as you are. So whatever you're interested in, whatever passions you have, wherever you want to take your career, you can do that at Laurier with the courses that you have, whether it's double majors, minors, concentrations, specializations, diplomas, like you can do a lot. So it's just really about choosing what path is the right one for you. And that's why we called this Choose Your Own Adventure, because it really is your call. It's up to you.
And just to throw like a bombshell at the very back end of this is all we've really talked about is strictly academics. And the reality is that's only half of the equation. Like you're going to spend more time in university, not in class, than otherwise. So the one thing I would say in terms of my Choose Your Own Adventure is becoming a representative on my residence house council in first year, and then becoming a residence life Dawn, so the senior student that mentors the first year students in the program, or as they're in residence and making that transition. That was where I realized I was passionate. I wanted to be a teacher, but I found this whole new outlet for educating people on like the transition to university. And that was what really clicked for me. And I remember having this conversation with my mom in my grandmother's kitchen. And she was saying to me, like, I'm not so sure that this residence thing is such a good idea. Like, it's hurting your grades. You're spending a lot of time on this. And I'm not sure I'm comfortable with it. And so I put on my big boy pants, got bold, and actually like challenged my mom on this a little bit. It was a big play for me. I'm pretty square.
Aww.
I'm like, well, here's the thing, Mom. Like, let's say I drop like half a GPA point. I'm like, okay, I lost my entrance scholarship, but I live for free in residence, so I'm not paying any of that. So I'm actually making money on this deal, and I'm getting a ton of transferable skills, and I could see myself doing this as a career on the end. And at that point, she's like, okay, so you've got a plan. That's great. And that's totally how it played out. So the way that I kind of describe it when I talk to students is that the job I'm doing has very little to do with my program, actually, at the end of the day, but it has everything to do with my university education.
That's exactly right. That's a very great little bow to put on our Choose.
Absolutely. And not to mention, I just want to throw something in there, not to mention, Craig, like you may not, like kinesiology, like you're a kinesiology student, even though you may not do it in your career, like it is Craig's passion. There's no guessing. Like,
Yeah. The
kinesiology
history
is,
one surprised me, Craig. I didn't know that.
I would do say the same thing, but no way.
That makes sense why you're so good at writing emails.
Yes.
Yes, I do. I had practice writing. I agonized over papers.
Yeah.
I hated them, but I was good at them.
Yeah.
Just saying.
That's good. That's awesome.
Also, one more quick point of order before we wrap this thing up for those that are just joining us. Sean is not dead. So if you watch this podcast, we had a moment of silence for Sean. Sean's not dead. Sean is currently looking for work, exploring opportunities for continuing education. So I just wanted to make it clear that the moment of silence is because we miss Sean, not because we'll never see Sean again.
Good catch,
Thank
Craig.
you
Good catch.
Clearing that up. I can understand that sometimes my colloquialisms can be misconstrued. Sean is absolutely alive and thriving.
And no one is happier about that. Well, Sean probably is, but we're really happy about that.
If you miss Sean and you want to look at him on some of our past recordings.
Well, that's what we call a segue in the business. So that needed
That
to
is a
be.
segue.
Please keep going. That was
If you
gorgeous.
missed him and want to watch past recordings, or you want to watch him on some of the webinars that he moderated, you can do that at wlu.ca/Laurier at home. If you would like to take a virtual campus tour or speak to some of our current students, you can do that on Laurier Virtual Experience. If you have great ideas for future podcast themes, you want to send us some questions, shoot us an email at recruiters@wlu.ca. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. We love having you guys tune in. And on that note, kick it.
I wanna talk, I wanna be your friend. I get so nervous when I meet new people, but you don't mind cause you're a nice new friend. Let's go to school and just be friendly people. I just wanna sit and talk to you. Oh my, it's fun when we're together.